slap some gel up in that bad boy. Oh, we're live.
I didn't start this yet.
Okay.
What kind of vibrate do you have it on? Like super powered?
You want to know?
No, yeah, I do.
You really want to know?
I don't know why it's so intense.
Do you want the Coles Notes version, or do you want like the X-rated version, or you want the?
No, I just want to know. I don't know what kind of version. I just want the true version.
Should I whisper it to our the
Would you
caregiver?
stop? Nonsense. Okay.
It's AlzHEIME'R'S.
Oh wait. Okay.
It's AlzHEIME'R'S. What they forget to tell you.
Episode
58.
Are you sure?
No, I never am. Because last week you were supposed to do homework.
Yeah, but
that you didn't do.
I couldn't. I couldn't do it.
I don't know what episode it is. It's 58.
It's 58-ish.
Or 59. Or we could even round it up and say 60, but I don't think it's 60.
I think it's like in between 50 and 59.
So 58 and a half.
Or 3/4. Who knows? Might be 59. I'm not sure. Okay.
Hi.
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 Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry for last week not being able to do a podcast, but it gets like that sometimes. Just get talked out. Don't feel like talking about it. Sorry. That's the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's the truth.
I think you're forgiven. I don't think, you know.
And judging from like the large
audience.
All
right, so
okay.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about the controversial topic about Dan Gasby, I think. I hope I'm pronouncing it right.
Who's
and
that?
B. Smith, where they're a famous couple. Like I think
They're famous.
Yeah, well, she was a model in the 70s.
Okay.
And he's a restaurateur. And then they've written cookbooks together, so they both opened businesses together.
Okay.
And now his wife has Alzheimer's disease, and
that's the B girl.
Yeah, B. Smith.
She's the woman with Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a big controversy because he has a girlfriend.
What do you mean as a girlfriend? So him and the wife are separated?
No. He's still looking after his wife, but he has a girlfriend. Yeah.
He's the caregiver to his sick wife who has Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a girlfriend.
Yes.
What's the question?
Well, it's not a question. I have my take on it. So I'll give you a little bit. Hi, Deborah. I'll give you a little bit of what I think personally. I think, okay, so I'll tell you what, he had some very, I watched it, he was on The View, and I watched it, and I liked certain things that he said, that because it resonated with me, with my mom. So he said his wife is in remarkably good shape from the eyebrows down, and I loved that quote. Because it's so true of like when my mom first had Alzheimer's, you wouldn't know, and it's such a great description of somebody who has like early onset, that they're remarkable. People don't know that they're sick because remarkably they're in good shape from the eyebrows down, right?
Okay.
Like basically he was saying she's physically, like she can still carry out, like she can wear a bikini, like she's in very, very good shape. But he said at the end of his description, he goes, but she's a toddler. And I was like, yes, exactly.
So this is the beginning stages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, well, no, she's not in the beginning. I think she's had it for like 5 years now. And she said that he said that many of us will be on this similar journey of knowing at least somebody that has Alzheimer's, or like in his situation, his spouse, right? And he said it's been extremely difficult to watch as a caregiver.
So difficult that he needed to go out and get a girlfriend. Sorry.
And he said and he's now being criticized for that. Okay, so he's being criticized because of what your take obviously is. Okay, what's your take on this?
Well, I don't know the entire story. So.
Okay, the gist of it is that his wife has Alzheimer's, and she's had it for 5 years, and he's been her caregiver, and he still is her caregiver, but he has a girlfriend because the caregiver journey is, he says he loves his wife, but it's in a different way now.
Whew.
His wife is a toddler. Keep in mind, she has the disease. It's progressing.
Is this the same story that I heard that he moved the girlfriend in the house? He moved her in, and something, he takes care of the wife, but he moved his girlfriend in.
And she also helps to take care of his wife.
And that's, I think, when I turned the episode off, because I was like, then that's a wrap for me.
Why? Well, this is very timely, because what's your take on that?
Okay, so I'm a firm believer of till death do us part, and you get married, you take vows, you obviously you go through life with your life partner, and you don't know, anything can happen. We don't expect to get sick, we don't want to get sick, but these things happen. And I guess I can see it. There's, on one hand, I respect his honesty in, stating that I'm sorry, my little one's right beside me. That wasn't my belly. I respect his honesty where he at least is coming out and saying, I love my wife and I'm still going to take care of her and all of this stuff. But at the same time, too, there's this level of disrespect that I feel about the situation, that if you're going to conduct yourself where you feel the need to get a girlfriend while your sick wife is at home, then you need to not move this woman into your home while your wife is there. That's highly disrespectful. Highly, in my opinion. I think that most people, if they really think about the situation, ask yourself, is it something that I would be okay with if the shoe was on the other foot? So if this man was sick and losing his mind, would he appreciate his wife moving her boyfriend in the house?
Okay.
Answer would probably be no.
No, because that's the thing. So he said he's being criticized. However, he is doing exactly what his wife and him discussed when she was able to discuss. They wrote a book about her journey, and she wanted to make sure that things were in place, because he said that's another problem in society where we understand that we're going to die. And he had this very good quote. He said, we are all temporarily abled, and that's a perfect description. We are temporarily abled. We are living longer, and unfortunately your chances of developing dementia, well, my situation completely different, but is 1 in 3 when you cross the age of 85.
I'm not disputing that. We're on the same page with this.
Right. Okay. So he said his wife and him sat down and they went through the DNR. They knew the progression of the disease and what would happen, and she said she wants him to get on with his life.
Okay. Well, see, that there's more to the story. You didn't tell me that part.
No, because that's why, and that's what he said. He said he wasn't able. It was only on The View where he was just being criticized and called all these names, and it was even worse because his girlfriend is a different race than he is.
Oh, so this guy's what? He's black.
Right.
And the girlfriend's what? White.
Right.
And the wife is black?
Yes.
Well.
So then, of course, there's
that's another can of worms.
Right. So he said he's being left, right, and center, criticized.
Good luck for the girlfriend.
For his decision, and yet this is what his wife and him discussed.
Okay, so then that should be at the forefront of every topic.
Right, but this was the View was the only place he was allowed to discuss his part of the story.
Okay.
they've just heard this story and everyone
Well,
ran
yeah.
with it.
So same thing that you just
Right.
did when we started. So
Right.
you give a chunk of the story,
Right.
and off the top, it to me sounds 100% disrespectful.
Right, but
Until
you're the
find-
general audience, so that's perfect, because that's the whole point.
But you should have started off the topic by saying
no,
his wife sat down
Yeah.
with him
yeah,
when she was of able mind and said A, B, C, D, and E. And now that A, B, C, D, and E has happened, it's all good because they've discussed this and it was okay for the two of them as a pair, as a couple, as a unit. That's different than she's out of her mind, not knowing what's going
Yeah,
on. This
and then
man
there's-
moves this woman
exactly.
in and is just completely disrespecting her in her home. That's a completely different spectrum.
and people don't understand. And like I'm only seeing it from like a mom-daughter's perspective as a caregiver, and it is isolating, and it is it's a lonely
Very
journey,
lonely, yeah.
very very lonely, because not many people understand it. So in his situation, I'm looking at it, and they did speak to his girlfriend. She was in the audience, and she's absolutely right. Like, because they take her for walks together, they go to dinner together, they take her to visit other friends together, she's probably being more mentally stimulated than if it was just him trying to take care of her
And being
by himself,
overwhelmed and upset
depressed and overwhelmed. And this way he has made a vow that he will take care of her. They've discussed this, and he's doing it the best way that he can, and he's being criticized for
Well, I think he's being criticized for it because not everybody has the accurate information. But how you've explained it, then again, if the wife and him came together as a unit and discussed this and were both okay with it, then I'm okay with it. As long as it's
Yeah,
not being
disrespect-
done in a disrespectful manner, and this lady or this girlfriend comes in and starts playing house in this woman's place or this woman's house as she's losing her mind, like those kind of things, that's probably what's triggering people, because anybody could see that would be a problem.
Right, but then I also have a problem with that, where people are criticizing him. Unless you've gone through this journey, I don't think anybody has the right to criticize what coping mechanisms that you need to provide care. He didn't lump her in a nursing home.
No, but Karen, let's be real.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
I knew your parents.
Right.
Okay. Now I'm placing the same scenario on your parents. You really think that our family or anybody else on the outside in would have been able to see your dad move his girlfriend in as your mom was losing her mind?
Yeah, but it's just only because, like, the optics on it, people are just going to start criticizing because it doesn't fit their description of what he should be doing. So basically, I know I can speak to this now because I've seen it like for 19 years, and maybe at the time I probably wouldn't understand it if my dad had done that, but on the other end, I would totally support that, knowing what I know now.
Right.
Like, yeah, you'd have to have that information, and that's what he's basically saying. People are criticizing, but they don't know this disease, like personally and intimately, like he does, and like I do. So it's easy to cast stones, like when you're not in it, like. And then it's funny, another co-host of The View, she had said that her grandmother, like, she had a problem with it too. She was one of the people, and she was friends with them. And she said but her grandmother moved into her house because her grandfather left when she got the disease, which happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, they don't know how
They
to
just leave. They can't handle it, and they move on with their life. And even with caregivers, when you bring a loved one into the home, I would love to do statistics on how high the divorce rate is when you have a sick parent that has Alzheimer's, because it is a challenging disease.
It's terrifying, yeah.
And people will bolt, and that's just, I could say the same thing about my ex, right? Right? Like, people...
They don't know how to deal with it.
They don't know how to deal.
And they often feel like, well, this is not something I signed up for, right?
Right.
Nor is it for the person who is caregiving.
Even if they did sign up for it.
Yeah.
And it just becomes too much. because it envelops your life and it takes over your life. And people will say,
no, you have control.
Yeah, and people will say it. Like, I love well, you have to take self-care. Really? I'm glad somebody thought of that. Like, how? If I only knew.
Well, it's like the same type of thing when you have a newborn. People are like, oh, are you sleeping?
Yeah.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know, there's certain things that you wish. I know I'm supposed to be doing these things, but you just can't. Like, you know.
Like, you know, people, take care of yourself. Well, when you're in the sandwich generation, how do you take care of yourself? How do you take, like, how would I have, like, I was a single parent. How would I have just ignored Jalen and just make sure that I'm okay? Then who's taking care of him? There's nobody else to take care of him. Like, I know, like, these are great tips.
On paper. But when applying in real life.
It's practically not so much.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad that this was out, and it was very timely because it was just yesterday. And because, you know, I felt his pain when he was talking. Like, I felt
this was The View?
Yeah, it's been on people, like, he's just been getting bashed all over.
I think I read something on Facebook. Right. I just read a snippet, and I was like, once I heard he moved his girlfriend in, I was like, let's keep scrolling.
Yeah, but that's the problem. And I think that's all people need to know. Like, oh, you're the spouse, and it's for better, for worse, it's sickness and in health. This is a different type of sickness. This is neurological progressive brain disorder. That's what it's called. We keep calling it, we're not calling it what it is. It's like trying, you would understand if you really pinpointed what it is, what you're dealing with. The person becomes, like he said, she's well from the eyebrows down. Yeah. But she's a toddler.
Now let me ask this.
Mm-hmm.
Did he meet the girlfriend after the wife got sick?
I think she knew. Yeah. Their relationship only progressed like 5 years after. Like, he didn't immediately, oh, she's sick, I have a girlfriend. It took 5 years for him to have this relationship. Because
that's a little different. Like once the diagnosis happened and then the girlfriend gets moved in, and it's.
And they wrote a book together, and I can't remember what the book is, but it was documenting her disease because she was aware of her disease. Okay. And she gave the thumbs up, like, get on with your life.
Then I'm cool with it.
And, like, I think it's still admirable that he's still caregiving for her. Like, he loves his wife. It's just he can't love her in the way that
is nurturing to him.
Yeah, they started their journey, and it's hard for him. He said, like, we've built so much together. We've done so much. We've spoken about so much, and we've also spoken about this, because that's what his point was. People we're temporarily abled, so we need to really sit down and say our wishes to whoever needs to hear them. You have a 1 in 3 chance of getting this disease, this particular one, not to mention the other ones. I don't know the stats. So what are your needs? What are your requirements? God forbid if this should happen to you. Because, again, I'm just guessing with my mom, right? She did not sit down and talk about, like,
her wishes. Which,
would have been great if she was even like, what's her name? B. Smith, where she could sit down and cognitively
make her own decisions.
Look, if this should happen, this is what I want you to do. This, please don't. She has a DNR. Like, she already, do not just let it progress how it progresses, and we'll roll with the punches. You have to have, like, a living will. You have to have something that states, look, if this should happen to me, please do this.
Well, if you don't, then a complete stranger will, or your loved one that you don't want to put them in that type of situation. But, I mean, if you want control over your life, once you lose control over your life, then that's the type of stuff you got to do. I mean, even if you're not sick, think about your funeral arrangements. Everyone should have a will. Everybody should have that conversation with their loved ones as well. in terms of what they would like to see happen or what they would like to have happen. Cremation, burial, like there's a lot of things to consider.
We don't want to talk about it.
We don't. It's so taboo.
And it's
like,
weird because we know
it's gonna happen.
Part of life. You have to die. Like it's sorry to break it to you.
Yeah.
You know. And you know, nobody. I love that thing, and I'm gonna keep pumping that. That we are temporarily abled. We are. We're all temporarily abled. And he said, if you're lucky enough, you'll get old. If you're lucky, you'll get old without, you know, you'll age naturally.
Mm-hmm.
That's the luck of the draw, that you get to live to a ripe old age, but you have all your faculties and you die of old age. That's the luck. But other than that, if you want to play Russian roulette, you know,
it's roulette.
Whatever. How do you know? How do you know it's roulette?
Because I just know.
How do you know?
There's certain things in life that I know. That is one of them.
I'm not convinced. I'm going to have to Google that after. Anywho, we definitely need to put things in place. Good, bad, or indifferent.
And as tough as those conversations can be.
Why is that tough?
Well, people don't want to talk about death. They don't want to talk about disease.
When I joke about it, you get, oh, don't joke about it.
Well, because you say things and it's dangerous because words have power. That's what I say.
I say you could blatantly, I have a higher risk because my mom has Alzheimer's.
That's not joking. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about the jokes, the little jokes.
Yeah, when I say I'm pre-Alzheimer's.
That's not what you say.
What I say. What I say.
Are you ready to cut me off again?
What do I say?
Okay? You don't say that to me. You'll make like little silly jokes and you'll be like, haha, Alzheimer's, and I just don't think it's funny.
What's a joke?
I'm not gonna quote you. I don't write them down.
Well, you should.
But
you can't. You have to quote me.
What my point is,
I can't confirm
is that
I said it.
I can tell you that you do. But then what's your point? You want to rewind this?
No, you. Okay.
Stop contradicting yourself and drink your water.
I'm not contradicting myself. I'm saying if I joke, you have to tell me what I joke about that you don't like.
No, what I don't like is when you say these things about Alzheimer's and it's Alzheimer's and it's because I'm getting Alzheimer's or I could get. Stop saying things like that. You put it out to the universe and it's got power. You gotta I strongly believe that words are powerful.
I'm pretty sure I can't will myself to get Alzheimer's. Pretty sure.
How sure?
Like it's a protein in your brain. It's a tau protein in your brain.
You have no idea how powerful your words are. What you put out there.
My mom didn't get Alzheimer's by saying maybe I'm going to get Alzheimer's. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so we're gearing off topic here. I'm just letting you know words have power. And if you continue to put something out there and demand it or even predict it or continue to talk it in your life, it shows up. So you can use that.
Off track.
Yeah,
this
you
is
can
not
use
the
that.
Law of the universe talk. We're talking about the girlfriend moving in.
I can't stand you right now.
And what you're taking is on the girlfriend moving in. And a living will. That's what we're talking about. You need to put things in place. Do you have a living will?
Yes, I do.
Liar, pants on fire.
So then why ask me?
Because you're lying right now.
I'm not lying.
Right in my face.
I'm not lying.
You have a living will?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what does it say?
Do you want to read it?
No, I just want to know what it says.
It tells my spouse exactly what I would want to happen should I get in an accident, should something happen where I can't talk or I can't explain myself. Ever since that stuff happened with my dad, I put it all in check.
Okay, so what is it?
I'm not telling you and everybody else.
Do we get to pull the plug?
If a machine is breathing for me, yes.
Okay. Good to know.
I don't want a machine keeping me alive.
Okay.
If I have no quality of life, take me out.
If you have dementia, what happens?
I think I agree with B.
What's B?
The girl. B. Smith or whatever her name is.
Oh yeah.
Just
move on with your life.
Like natural progression. I don't want to be.
So do you want the girlfriend moving in?
I want my spouse to be happy. I don't know, it's tough. For me, like, in my right mind and the way that I feel right now, no, obviously no woman you don't want your man to be with the next woman.
And if you after this, watch it. If you get a chance, watch it. It's on YouTube. Like, if you just Google, because that's what I did. If you just Google Dan Gasby, it'll come up, and you can watch the whole.
I'm going to.
It's 11 minutes.
And it's a good question, because it got me thinking, and I've thought of that before too. If something happens to me now where I'm young and my husband's young, I get in an accident and I pass away or whatever, would I want another woman to come and,
Well, she's like 65.
This is it, right? So my natural off the top, obviously, no, I don't want, I want it to be me, but at the same time, I want him to move on and be happy. I want him to live in, the duration of his life content and with a companion. And
Would you want her to help him look after you?
If I'm not in my right mind.
Yeah, you're not in your right mind.
And he's overwhelmed and yeah.
Yeah.
Would I want to know that he's banging her in my bed? No.
Okay.
Would I want to know that? No, but I'm saying, you're asking those tough questions.
Won't know. You're not cognitive, you're.
But I am now.
Yeah,
so this
you
is
are
why
now.
It's tough to ask, because naturally.
Yeah, she made the decision.
Right. So naturally, I would not want that, because the ego in me and the woman in me is like, hell no. But then when you really think it through, and I'm thinking, of his happiness, and I'm thinking about the quality of life, and I'm not really going to know, and I'm a toddler, and this and that, and I'm doing all of these considerations, then yes.
You know why? Because I looked, because you see pictures, and he got.
Yes, Karen.
Yeah, he got in trouble. Listen to this I think, because he showed her now, right? How she looks now.
Mm-hmm.
He got in trouble for that because people don't want to see her like that. See?
Yeah, well, it's uncomfortable, right?
It's uncomfortable for other people. But they had discussed all of that. He's not doing anything that she said, show what it is.
Well, I think the problem here is that it needs to be presented differently. So, instead of it coming out as a story the way that you started and said, okay,
but that's how
hold on.
Yeah, that's how it came out.
Okay, that's the problem that I have.
Right, and he's trying to defend himself. That's the problem he's having. This story broke, and now he wasn't given the opportunity till yesterday to defend himself.
Okay.
So that's the problem.
Okay,
People ran away with the story, and he got criticized left, right, and center for everything that he's doing, including I think she had locks, and she was pulling them, because part of the disease, you start doing odd things. Because, and she started pulling them out. So he cut her hair, and he got criticized for cutting her hair.
Well, at the end of the day, he doesn't need to answer to anybody but himself, his wife, and I guess the girlfriend that's helping taking care of him, and the rest of their kids or the family dynamic or whatever. It's so intimate and personal that when you invite the public to have an opinion, this is what's going to happen, right? What goes on in the home should stay in the home, unless, you're seeking advice or wanting to share it with other people. But this is why a lot of people tend to want to keep their relationships private, because everyone's got an opinion, and it's not always going to match your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be prepared for that.
But then now it's so far, now it's racial. It's like a snowball now. It's so ridiculous. It's out of control.
Yeah. Well,
where everybody's attacking him, and you could see, they show, they pan into a video of her, right? Both of them taking care of her, and you could see, it's very familiar to me, that vacant look.
Mm-hmm.
Like when my mom at the beginning, she would have sometimes a vacant look, like she's
no
not
one's
really
home.
there.
Yeah.
And to think, oh, is she really cognitive? No. She probably has no clue. She knows familiar faces, but she probably has zero clue on what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And they already spoke about it.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to watch that, and I think everybody else should as well, so that maybe next time we can do a continuation or a follow-up after everyone's been informed, because I haven't seen the video.
We could get people's take next week. You should watch it again. It's, gosh,
well,
Dan.
Put it in the comments.
I'll put the link.
Yeah, put the link so that everyone can watch.
And then we could. It's controversial. It's a big topic right now, so we can have our own view. We can all be co-hosts on what your position. Why the look?
Keep going, co-host.
No, because people will all have opinions.
Yes.
Some people are just so against it, and I'm for it.
I am too, given the information that I know now. In the beginning, I was like, asshole. But
was he on the Today Show? I don't know if he was. Was he on the? I know, like, he was on The View, but I don't know if he was on the Today Show.
He's probably going to be on a lot of shows now, because this is going to be the hot topic that everyone's going to want to get him on and talk, and it's the topic now, right? And we go through little phases like that until the next big thing happens, and the next thing, you know.
Right, and Karen said she was an early onsetter like Mom. So can you imagine if can you imagine his life, early onsetter, so and it would be like me, my mom's 19 years, and, you know, she's going on to 19 years. So he should put his life on hold and be for 19 years.
Well, people don't know how long.
For the same end result.
But you don't know it's going to be 19 years. Some people, like, look at, like, some of the people that we've had, some of our regular viewers. Some people, it was barely a year. Some people, it was 4 years. Some people, like, it ranges. You don't know how long a person has when they get diagnosed.
Time, the person, the collateral damage on the other person, right? The other person is, like, deteriorating.
I hear you.
So it might be 5 years, but then it's 10 years on
I
that person.
I hear you. It's
and
horrible.
Then to like pick yourself back up might take another 10 years.
I get
and then
it.
you didn't meet anybody, so you're going to stay single for the rest of your life.
Hey, man, listen. I get it. I'm not saying, again, I would be selfish to say I would never want him to move on and find somebody else and all of that stuff. That's selfish. At the same time, too, you know, given all of the, like I said before, given all of the points and the information, as long as the wife and him came to a mutual understanding together in their marriage, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. As long as it was a mutual understanding. It's different if it wasn't, like I said, and this man just brings in some woman, regardless of the race.
But then what's the difference? Because there's been movies like Away From Her was a movie, and I don't know if it's based off of a true story, but it does happen, where his wife has dementia and he couldn't take care of her anymore at home, right? And so let's get back to that. People were also criticizing him because they were like, in the marital home. No, that wasn't. He said that she used to like run away, so they had to move. So that's not the marital home. It's just, you know.
Yeah, we all have to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just, so that everyone's on the same page.
And in this situation, Away From Her, that movie, his wife went into a nursing home, and he used to go and visit her, but she didn't know who he was, and she liked another person in the nursing home, and she was like, that was her new relationship, but he would still go and visit her. So it's hard both sides, like.
So you should put that in the comments too, so people can check out that, and, you know, we can come back and
because you don't remember that the relationship, what that person. Sometimes you forget who that person is in relationship to you. Like, you might know it's a familiar face, or you might not even know. Like, you might get afraid of a person. Like, I don't know, you know. So it's dynamic. So this disease, because it's a brain disorder, neurological, progressive. Okay, well, that was great.
And so much for keeping it short.
We try, but then it, you know, sometimes topics, when it's a good topic and it's a controversial topic, you know, doesn't matter. And then when people are engaged, that's okay too. Hi, Betty. You know, I was watching the other thing. Every time Betty comes on, you do like a whole cheer for her.
She's like the only friend you have that I know. Like, I don't know your friends, so, well, I know a couple, but I mean, Betty's like from like back in the day, Betty.
Okay.
Like, when I was young, Betty was like around. And
you're still younger than us.
Yeah, you're a dinosaur. Not you, Betty. Just her.
Okay. We're 10 days apart.
Yeah, not Betty.
But not you.
You know when you remember somebody and they stay the same in your mind?
All right.
Yeah, so Betty's that. Betty was your pretty friend.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's your pretty friend.
Okay, Betty, you're my pretty friend.
Okay, on that note, we gotta go. So you guys tune in next week after you watch
The View. I'm going to put it in the comments.
Yeah.
The link.
Take a look and try and tune in next week around the same time, and we can have a discussion about it, whatever you guys think, or even just leave some comments. I mean, if you can't make the podcast, that's fine. You know.
Yeah, we'll read your comments.
Yeah, for sure, and we'll just have a little talk about it. Let us know what you think, and as usual, you can share, like, comment on the video. We appreciate all the support. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.